skips away. Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons win the grand final.
Welcome back to the TGIF Podcast. Thank God it's footy. How's the week treated you, my bro?
It was good. It was, albeit a loss, good to see a little bit of Tigers action there on the weekend. It was like, obviously kind of like the final part of your Sunday. I didn't actually stay up to watch the Dragons game. Particularly after a loss, it was kind of like I was ready to switch it off by then. But it was sort of the pinnacle of the weekend, being able to see the lads run out, and it sort of made up for a pretty poor showing from the boys the day before in our little club day there. I think we finished a grand total of 4th to last.
Yeah.
And that was shooting one under. I mean, I think the winning group ended up beating Gerard's group, who were 10 off the stack. I think they were one shot better. And I didn't recognise any of the names, so I'm not too sure who it was.
Hell of an effort. 11 under.
I think it was, I don't know if it's 11 under as such. I think it was 53 net.
Yeah, that's a hell of an effort.
Which is outrageous. So it has. It's been a good week. Looking forward to a slightly more experienced side running out there on Friday evening. Still no Jerome Luai. Obviously one of those players I don't think really needs to be given a run out there in pre-season. But I think many would argue maybe to try and sort of gel a little bit with Galvin. But I think it's it's also probably just as big of a risk to see him run out there and
obviously injuring
an injury.
Yeah, nursing a bit of an injury from a few weeks ago, but
it's good. It's just good to have some footy back. It's still nice. Probably nearly too hot. We have had a little bit of rain in the last few days or so, but it's possibly nearly too hot at the moment. It's always that sort of dry February heat,
Yeah, it's been stinking hot these ways, so don't know how they're coping over the ditch. We've seen some games rolling with the quarters, which is definitely fair enough there. Hot, hard grounds, obviously not too friendly on the bodies, but yeah, nonetheless, we love to see the footy back. A full weekend of footy there. Look, Tigers obviously fell short to the Doggies, but some signs of promise there from a few of those lads. Obviously, didn't see too many first stringers get too much of a hit out.
I think we've seen, 3 or 4
with a pretty strong showing attack-wise there.
I think we've seen 3 or 4 of those sort of like outer named players named this weekend given a shot. Lau Lili, I think he was probably the one that impressed me the most. Kit Lau Lili, that is. Obviously, we saw Luke there.
Yeah, I think Benji's pretty much locked in that Luke's going to be getting some pretty regular minutes.
I think he'll definitely be involved.
By what we're hearing out of Benji there.
Yeah, I also like the look of Hope. I want to say young player, but 27 and being given his sort of second crack there in the NRL. Came on there in the second half, and I thought it gave it a pretty good crack as well. It wasn't obviously a team loaded there with first teamers, but a couple of those players we'll probably see there round one. We will definitely see Talon De Silva, obviously Uppy banned there for round one. So we will see De Silva there. He was captain on the day as well, leading the boys out there. So obviously young, plenty of promise. We've seen him over the last season or so, and he'll be giving his crack to start the season. But we sort of, I was going to say kick off. We don't kick off, but we're second game up there on Friday. So for me, that kicks off my weekend, I guess. I believe it's Manly up in the first game, Tigers there in the second. We play Para. Team that we tend to, I don't really have the best recent memories of Para. When I think of playing Para, I just always revert back to the 50-0 opening game at Bankwest. And that kind of is just what I'm drawn to every time. But it looks like we've possibly named maybe a slightly stronger team, I think. The Eels resting a couple more players than what the Tigers are. But again, it's a hard one. You can't really go off pre-season too much until even round ones can be a little bit of a write-off sometimes. If you don't have the full strength team, give the lads a little bit of time to get the bodies used to it again.
Yeah, though it's definitely not how you go in this time of year, but probably more how you're looking to finish up come September. But always good to pick up as many wins as possible. Look, Parramatta, Tigers, looking into recent history, it's one of those games you've sort of tended to pull the odd upset over the last couple of years. One last year, 17-16er, which was before Parramatta had their big slide down the table. But then a big win for Para there, and that big spoon bowl in the season there. Sure, the Tigers boys will be out to get a little bit of revenge. Obviously, it doesn't mean anywhere near as much with just the pre-season title on the line. But yeah, look, it's just bloody good to have that footy back, I guess.
Can't wait.
Look, it's not long now till we kick off in Vegas. About a week and a half we're looking at.
Yeah, next Sunday. Yeah. Is it next Sunday or the Sunday after?
Sunday. The Sunday we're away.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So we might have to get on the road quite early there on Sunday morning potentially.
Not necessarily. I think first game's Warriors.
Probably.
Yeah, that's right. I don't mind. I don't mind if I'm listening to that on the radio or something like that, or as I'm making that last leg home. That's a game I don't mind sort of catching that a little bit delayed even, or if I miss it, I miss it. We can tune into that second game and we can maybe catch some highlights of the Warriors post game 2 there in Vegas. But yeah, there you go, next Sunday. So not long at all until we kick off some proper regular season footy, but it is obviously the end of that little pre-season challenge. Dragons have got another game in there as well after a very solid performance there last game there on Sunday.
Yeah, look, obviously we did come up, as was the theme sort of the round. One team tended to go a little bit stronger with their lineup, and one team went down the sort of youth and inexperience route, which is what the Roosters certainly tended to dish up. But strong performance from the Dragons, 3 tries to start from those first teamers. Good to see Val Holmes knocking the ball over the goalpost with some confidence. Other than that, just a chance to have a look at the future really for both teams. Once our first stringers went off, what's that equal 8-all after that 18-0 start, I believe we went out to. So interesting. There is a second piece of silverware on the line for, well, probably just the Dragons actually, after South lost to Manly, the Charity Shield, of course, in this one.
Yep.
It's been a pretty barren run for the Dragons, just the one win in the last 11 years there, one draw as well. But obviously South's probably not the same team, certainly last year compared to maybe the 9 or 10 previous there, so hopefully we can capitalise on a little bit of that. Hit them before they get their stars back as well, in this
Wayne Bennett though.
Wayne Bennett, yeah.
Wayne Bennett, back at the Bunnies, it's sort of
one of his old clubs. I don't think there's much bad blood between Wayne and the Dragons.
No, but I think
he's always desperate. I think
it's kind of like written in the stars for the Bunnies to bounce back this year. I think with Wayno coming back to the helm at the club. But yeah, I think you're probably right. Hit them before they get their stars back. I'm assuming a slightly weaker team than what you've named.
Can't remember off the top of my head. We'll have a look, eh? Let's pull this up. Because they're running with a fair few injury doubts.
There you go, right there. That's what I thought, yeah.
So I don't think they would have the likes. Well, Latrell's obviously...
Is Cookie starting?
There's lots of ins and outs for
both teams. I don't really know many of those. many of those names there that are on the outs.
Jackie Whiten, Tyrone Munro, Isaiah Tass, Sullivan and Dodd. So they're obviously missing Walker there.
Cookie starting, yeah.
Cookie starting up against his old team. No Cam Murray, but
Matangi there, Dallas Duncan.
Yeah, I suppose South's obviously missing.
Johnny Gray, who had a good game there up against Manly.
He's a good player, right? He's a hell of a player.
We didn't really, obviously, again, like you said, theme of the weekend there last weekend. Bunnies were the team that were running that slightly weaker team, although both teams very, very sparsely scattered with first team experience there in that game. But you didn't really get, get a good look at South. They kind of, bounced back a little bit at the end, but by that stage it is.
Yeah, ran in a few late tries to make it look a lot more respectable than what
Manly started off the game very well, there's no doubt about it. Winger Willett, I think his name was.
Huge.
Been named
Saab 2.0.
Yeah, been named to play again this weekend as well, and they've gone for a bit of it.
So he's as tall as Nelson.
Well, they're littered with outside backs. Manly. They've even now. I don't think they're playing Hopewadi at fullback this week. I think they've gone and playing Faulalo. So you've got him that can play fullback. You've got Hopewadi that can play fullback. You've got Kohler in there as well. And then if he's fit, you've got Tommy Turbo.
Yeah, a plethora of options there. Obviously, one standout, but remains to be seen how he goes this year on the fitness front. All luck to him, and hopefully we can see a good season out of the bloke. But another 7 games to tuck into with 4 teams away. Maybe just the 6 this week.
I think it is. We've got
1,
2 on the Friday.
3, 4, 5, 6.
7.
7, yeah. So, we're in 14 teams playing. So Panthers are playing on Friday night, so that'll be a very, very...
It is. It's a completely weekend
team.
It is, yeah.
Of under 18s. Sonny Luke, Trent Talau.
Kapora as well from the Tigers there. Austin Diaz we've heard of. But yeah, it is a very, very...
Interesting.
They're resting everyone that will be going over.
Oh,
a couple of players
they'll be probably already on the way over by Friday, surely. Give them a week to run loose in Vegas.
I'd assume they'll be up to a little bit.
Surely the Panthers boys 4 in a row. They if anyone deserves it.
Yeah, they get to have a little bit of fun. There's no doubt about it. But after that, 7 more games to go, and then there we are. Next Sunday we kick off the 2025 season.
Exciting times.
Can't bloody wait. I can't wait. Only the one Gooners game since we last spoke to you, I believe, and it was a very, very boring game at that, a 2-0 win up against Leicester. That was at the end of that big sort of marathon of sport watching. I was falling asleep here after golf at what?
3:30 maybe?
Yeah, eyes going. I ended up coming around to Jay's. I reckon we didn't actually end up even, we just had the sport on. We didn't even play any. We were going to play a little bit of FIFA. Jade made the whole beach team, where it would have been a good 3 hours. I reckon I must have dozed for a good hour and a half. On off, sort of just watching, and then kind of my eyes would go again. Got to about midnight. I was like, I'm off to BP. I'm off to get a coffee. Get to BP, the old angry dude who's there at night time.
Yeah.
I'm buzzing. I'm assuming it's him working because I'm buzzing. No one comes. And I kind of stood there for about 5 minutes and thought, all right, I can't be bothered with this. Went back to Jay's, jumped on, went on to Uber Eats because I knew that Jay wanted some donuts as well. And I was like, well, there you go. Get it above I don't know what the threshold is for the no delivery fee or whatever. Boom. Got my coffee, my donuts delivered probably maybe 15 minutes later than I would have liked to. And for me, that was the saviour. That little sort of 12:30 pit stop.
Told you to get involved in a coffee.
Jaden on the other hand, even then my eyes were still going. That halftime break, that's where you struggle. That's where you really kind of go, what do I do with myself in this 15-minute period of time here? And both of the eyes started to go, and I said to Jay, look, if you're keen to call it there, we'll head back and I'll just watch it at home. Most boring first half of my life, so I don't blame him for falling asleep. We had one player that did a job, and that was Nwaneri, 17 years old, and the only player out there who offered anything. So I don't blame anybody actually, for a 1:30 kickoff there. Trying to stay up for that and then trying to, get yourself through to the 90-minute mark. I'd say there'd be plenty of people that probably missed the fireworks that we saw there at the end of the game with probably one of the weirdest substitutions we've seen on the books of Arsenal for a long, long time.
Yeah, I can't remember if it was on tape last week or maybe just off. But you said, apparently we're thinking of rocking Mikel Marino as a false nine.
After that, I saw apparently they were going to play Calafiori there at striker.
Yeah, no. I suppose, Calafiori said it himself. They said, where would you like to play if you didn't have to play in your position? He said up front. And they said, we were strong. So I was talking about actually because he'd scored his second nice goal against Wolves. And they were saying, were you a striker in another life? And he's like, no, this life. Like, growing up, we were all the best kids at football, so we played striker, which is what everyone would presume. Striker or midfield, but...
Once you're with the best of the best, you've got to figure out
once you're with the best and you're a freaking big, tall, lanky bastard, you probably get chucked at the back. But, Calafiori, Mikel Marino was the man that got the nod, got the substitution, and you'd have to say, 2 delicious balls that he got himself on the end of.
First one was
credit to Nwaneri and Trossard there for putting it on a plate, but credit to the bloke for 30 minutes in his career he's played up top, if that 20.
I think he's played up top possibly once before. I think
maybe 9 years ago they were saying.
Yeah, I think at some stage in his career
he's played false nine before.
He might have played in a similar role, but he's a midfielder. I know that we're probably more used to seeing him in that sort of either central or even more defensive, but I think he himself wants to play in that more of like a 10 sort of role, getting forward and getting into the opposition's box and things like that. But yeah, first goal, got his head onto that one. Like you said, a couple of lovely balls, but a great nod to get onto that one. And then the second was just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, so good to see. Look, whether it was a complete fluke or a little bit of a tactical stroke of genius from Mikel Arteta, suppose that will come to fruition in the upcoming weeks if we can continue to pull off wins with just the 3 fit forwards on our books at the moment.
Are they all still out for our next game?
Not sure about that. Not sure about team fitness, how we're placed for returns. Speaking of returns, good to see Ben White back on the bench in the matchday squad.
That is good because it's been a while since we've seen Benjamin out there.
It'll be good to have him back involved. Look, Miles Lewis-Skelly is a hell of a talent, but you can't be relying on an 18-year-old to play every week. It'd be nice to have a little bit of rotation between him, Timber, and
particularly at this
Miles.
time of the season where although many would say we're not, we are still in the title race.
We probably want to be focusing more, I reckon, on the Champions League.
I think at this stage now that
depending on our draw, like if we get a rough draw in the first round or the second round there, while there's still time for Liverpool to slip up in the league, maybe you do have to think about that. But really you're looking, the only thing that is in our hands is the Champions League, really.
And I'd nearly like that more.
Yeah, look, because, it's been such a drought, and it almost feels like the correct way to do things is win the league first and then win the Champions League. But, certainly wouldn't turn my nose
It's also
up,
like, it's the last thing we haven't got.
Yeah, we haven't got one.
We haven't got a European trophy.
We've got a European trophy. We haven't got a big one.
We haven't got a big one.
We haven't got one in in our lifetimes, I believe. I think it was early 90s we might have won that.
92?
Cup Winners' Cup or the old UEFA Cup.
Was it the Intertoto? I believe it was.
Intertoto was another one that we've won, maybe more recently. Cup Winners' Cup might have been 80s.
Cup Winners' Cup in the 80s, possibly. 89-90. Arsenal.
Nah, because it was Cup Winners' Cup after we would have won the FA Cup.
94.
94, yeah. And then the Intertoto might have been...
Is that more like a 2000 sort of?
Yeah, might have been a little bit more recent.
I don't really know. I thought we'd won it at some stage. Maybe I'm just...
Yeah, I swear Martin Keown said that.
Maybe I'm making shit up.
I've heard that before, that we've won the Intertoto Cup.
It seems to... I mean, there's England. Villa, Blackburn, Fulham, Newcastle, West Ham. Newcastle only team to win it. Yeah. Outrageous. Who knows what I'm talking about then? Either way, Champions League would top either of them.
Yeah, definitely be better than an Intertoto Cup.
A real Cup Winners' Cup and a fake Intertoto Cup. A Champions League would absolutely top off
very
either of those.
Unless we can get some of those forwards back.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, our next thing to worry about is West Ham. At the Emirates, so fingers crossed this one can go to plan for us. It's going to be another case of finding a goal out of something. You know, Sterling's obviously coming in with rock bottom confidence, because I've never seen him play so terrible. I don't know what that was.
That was outrageous, eh?
He was so every
bad.
time he tried to take someone on, he'd just get the ball.
And
clean,
now for the last week, every meme I see
Gave
about
away
the football
fouls.
is, can't believe this was Sterling 3 years ago, whatever it was, when he had that season where he was he second in goal involvements in the world. I think it was had 51.
Yeah, and City won the league because he was fucking the star.
Had 51 goal involvements, I think, just second to Messi possibly. You know, it's people were putting him in for a Ballon d'Or shout. You know, and he is a complete shell of the player that he used to be.
Trossard seems to be struggling a little bit for some form.
I think this game, ideally, the way we can maybe snag a goal is like a little Trossard ball from a corner.
Yeah.
Marino gets his head on it. Maybe we see Gabriel get his head on it.
I think that this young kid is, really,
Ranieri,
really going to be, the star, obviously, of the future. But hopefully, we can get a little.
Where does he play?
Where does he play? Long term, I think long term we are going to have to look at somehow playing him either on the left instead of Martinelli, or in midfield with Odegaard.
That's more,
because I suppose what it's looking like his best position is right wing so far.
I don't think you can play over the player.
Yeah, I think
that
Saka,
you are the next one of. If that makes sense, I think he's the next Saka. He's the next star boy.
He can't come in and bench Saka, or we can't think, oh, we'll sell Saka and then Ranieri can jump in there. Like one of them has to get.
Someone needs to move somewhere
or play with Odegaard in midfield. I reckon.
I think that's got to be the way to go.
Yeah, look, I don't think Declan Rice is a CDM though. Like. I think our best midfield three, head and shoulders, and the stats prove it, is Partey, Rice, and Odegaard.
I've never been a Partey fan.
You seen the stats though?
Yeah, but
we've never lost a Premier League game that those three have started.
Did you see how poor he was?
Partey
on the weekend.
Yeah, to be fair, didn't really notice it as much as going forward, because you tend not to. I guess you tend to let the defenders off a little bit.
He just gave the ball away in the weirdest situations, and like. Some of his passes, I thought, this is something he gets applauded for, and it was just appalling. And I've never been, and it is possibly just because being so pro Xhaka, but I haven't been a big fan of Partey. But I do agree with you. I don't know if you'd be able to get away with Declan Rice, Odegaard, and Ranieri.
Yeah, I don't think that's a balanced enough midfield. You probably,
unless we were to go out there and, particularly if we lose Saliba, if we were able to maybe keep Saliba and strengthen our back four. Then maybe you can get away with playing a very attacking formation and just...
Yeah, but the thing is, But
if we lose...
long term, you're probably... Long term, unless he's happy to stay there, like, you're probably looking at Miles Skelly saying, Gaffer, I want to be in that midfield too.
Yeah, unless he is happy just to, lock down be the next Ashley Cole, or be better than Ashley Cole, be the next...
but he's not like that bombing
No, but he could definitely make that
Well, yeah,
position his
but,
own and stay there for the rest of his career. Being
He
Arsenal.
could if he's happy to do so. Yeah, that's the thing.
He could play there with no competition. The way it is at the moment. Unless we sign someone outrageous, and we keep saying keen on a left back. There ain't many out there really. Alphonso Davies would be awesome. There's not too many out there.
Nah, definitely not with the potential of young Miles there.
So I'd be giving him a start. I'd be giving Maneri a start. And what an absolute shame that we got rid of Cheeto Obi Martin, because we'd be giving him a start currently at the moment as well. I think it was I don't know if it was his debut or not.
He was on the bench.
He came on.
Spurs, was he not?
Came on.
I
think he was the only sub, and they did it pretty late on. I don't know if it was his debut or not, but he's barely played for under 23. He would have been playing so much first team football if he stayed.
Well, yeah, he would have been getting subbed on, I reckon, as soon as Jesus got injured. And then once Havertz got injured, he would have been He would have made his Premier League.
He scores in that game that he comes on for Jesus, and it's kind of like maybe like the birth of the next Rashford, when all of a sudden he came on and he just started
I don't think he comes on for Jesus. I think once Jesus gets stretched off, next game he's on the bench.
Gotcha.
So that in case Havertz needs a rest or whatever, but. Yeah, look, I don't think he would have got much game time until maybe this week when Havertz actually went down. But he
would have been talking about it. There's no doubt about it, because we've been struggling to score goals all season.
Yeah. And to be fair, look, we've seen Arteta bring Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly in. So what's another 16, 17-year-old amongst the ranks?
And let's be honest, he scored plenty more goals than Butler Iyiji. The dude scored more goals.
Bro, he scored more goals in one game than some people score in a season.
Then the bloke has scored in like his whole career nearly. He's probably scored more goals in that season than Butler Iyiji has played for Arsenal.
Didn't he score 10 goals in a game?
10 goals against Liverpool.
That's Liverpool as well. It's probably no shabby youth team.
So, there would have been plenty of chances. But that is going to be the aim come, Saturday night, there, Sunday morning. Where do we find a goal? I guess the big positive is though the form of West Ham. They're sort of battling in those down in the doldrums. I guess, is that the right word there?
Doldrums. Maybe?
Doldrums. I think I kind of got confused with the doldrums and the dungeons.
The dungeons usually are.
I think I said dungeons there, so I was dundrums. I was well off track there. Either way, they're down in the dumps and they're not necessarily in a relegation battle, because I do believe the bottom three are
I think it's pretty locked in.
Fairly well and done.
What, Wolves could possibly swap out with Leicester or Ipswich, is it?
Yeah, I think Ipswich.
Wolves are like a point. Yeah, Southampton are gone.
I think Ipswich go. I don't think they've got holiday to stay up.
Or did they go above?
I think they might be 19th. Everton is safe.
Everton are safe now. They're 12th.
Everton. There's no way Moyes. There's no way David Moyes was going to get relegated with Everton. There was no way. That would have been the best time right before he got.
Not in their last season at Goodison Park.
No way. Although I don't know if you've seen, they had their first game in the new stadium.
Yeah.
Under 18s against Wigan, and the dude who scored the first goal is a Liverpool fan.
Oh, yeah.
And I believe he did some sort of Liverpool-related celebration in the stadium. So, not a good start for life. Don't know what it's called. Everton Football Stadium? I don't know.
I don't know, but I have a feeling it's like right on the river, is it not?
It looks bloody lovely. Everton Stadium, yeah.
Everton Stadium, no sponsor. Yeah, look, right on the River Mersey.
Yeah, very, very nice. Everton Stadium.
Yeah. In the docks.
So there you go. I was pretty close there with that guess, but yeah, ideally there 3 points coming in this weekend if we can have ourselves a goal.
Yeah, that'll be the key. I think defensively, we should be fairly safe going through the motions there, just about. But yeah, look, Wanyeri, he was close. He was very close. He hit the crossbar and the post. So fingers crossed, as you say, Trossard can pull something out. Maybe, I don't know whether Sterling gets another chance based on what we saw. So
Who do you play then?
Mikel Merino from the start at 9. I don't know if that was
Is that
something
is that a
Arteta
thing he's
has
going to do?
sort of accepted, but look, the evidence tends to.
There's nothing else you can do. I'm just trying to think where else you can move.
You just have to play. You just have to play someone that's tall and that can get their head on
I
something.
think you're better off chucking someone
probably,
up top than playing Sterling.
Honestly, if he wasn't so key to our defence, you'd probably look at Gabriel. He's such a good goal scorer.
Yeah.
In terms of getting his head on something.
Yeah, to be fair.
And he does. He's the highest scoring Premier League defender, or thereabouts, in the last 3 or 4 seasons. Every season.
He'd do a very good job actually. Now you come to think of it,
too key in defence. Maybe if we did have Ben White fully fit going,
Tomiyasu fit as well. You know,
we could roll Timber or
you can mix and match a little bit. But yeah, fingers crossed. 3 points come the weekend, and roll into what must be, will it be Champions League yet, or another week? Another week in Premier League.
I believe this week is what, like, were there any games this morning?
There's been games this morning.
The second leg of
Bayern Munich. Celtic went 1-0 up.
They probably have a week off.
They were ready for extra time, and I believe Alphonso Davies scored a last-minute winner, a last-minute equaliser to go through. But absolute heartbreak there for Celtic. That would have gone down up there with their 2-1 win over Barcelona. Was it 2-1? It was that they beat Barcelona.
Yeah, they beat them 2-1 with like 11%. Or
yeah, something outrageous. So yeah, fingers crossed. 3 points there on the weekend, and then roll into another game next week. A little bit of a scare there on the weekend with the old King of the Yockey. I thought I'd managed to nab one, just the way that the results had come through, but I hadn't. I believe it was the second game that the maybe highest checkout threw me off. Now I kind of realised just briefly before, I hadn't actually gone in and made one just yet, so we're going to make one live now, just as we go through what's been going on at the Yockey over the last few days. Now, obviously, I picked my 4 right. I had my players correct, but done in on a couple of the little stats in there. But we did see Luke Littler take out night 2 of the Premier League there on Friday morning our time, taking out Humphreys in the final. So it seems to be a matchup we're seeing all the time now. The 2 Lukes against each other. So obviously we've seen the battle of the 2 Michaels there a couple of years ago. And then we saw Luke and Luke. We've seen Luke and Luke again in a world final. We're seeing Luke and Luke in the Premier League. So it seems to be the way of the world at the moment in the world of darts. We've also seen a couple of players' championships there over the weekend, or actually over the last couple of days there. Unfortunately, nothing to come for hopes there. I believe 2 first-round exits. Which is unfortunate after last week managing to snag a couple of wins and a little bit of money there. But we saw Ryan Searle taking out this morning's Players' Championship, and I believe it was Chris Dobie taking out yesterday's one. We do see a little bit of European Tour qualifying action tomorrow and the next day. So we do, maybe not the next day actually with Premier League, but definitely tomorrow. So we do see hopes involved with that. So hopefully have a good little run through, make it into the top 20 or the top 10, I believe, and then you're through into whatever the next event is, which I'm not 100% certain on. But that'll be tomorrow, and then back into the Premier League there on Friday. But I have managed to just sort of quickly get one going there. Your first match there Friday morning, we've got Humphreys up against Bunting. As much as I love Stephen Bunting, it's hard to go past either of the Lukes at the moment. So that's Humphreys in at $3.75. We've then got Littler coming in at a measly $2.63 to take the King of the Yockey up against Gill and Price. Rob Cross and the Asp were evenly split at 5 apiece, and I'm just going Rob Cross based on recent form. He's been playing some good darts. And then MVG, the beast, the machine that he is, 433 up against Dobie, comes in at odds of 213.52, so higher odds there than last week.
Okay.
You're checking 10 on that. You're up in the 2.1 area rather than the 1.5 sort of realm. So you're looking at an extra $600 there with those odds. Yet to pull
feel
one
free
off.
to flick that. Yeah.
We're yet to pull one off. I must be at least. I mean, a season's 25 weeks. I'm at least 200 down because there'd be the odd few weeks where I just would forget to actually put the bet through. But I'm at least $200 down on these King of the Yockey bets. So one comes through and we're up already.
Yeah.
So that is the aim there for this week. Ace is telling us it's time to wrap up. He's barking his head off there, so apologies for any of that you may be getting there in your background. As always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for getting involved, whatever you do. Remember to get involved in all your socials. Give us a like, give us a comment, get subscribed. Enjoy your week ahead. Enjoy that last week of pre-season before we get into some actual footy. If you're having a punt, do it responsibly. Pass on those winnings if you do get that King of the Yockey.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you here next week.
Yeah, always open for a bit of charity thrown this way. It's much appreciated. Yeah. See you then. Ciao.
Marshall skips away. Marshall's still going. Marshall's got Richards coming up outside. Now inside.
Arsenal have gone through an entire league campaign without losing.
Bennett and the Dragons